Alrighty, people, we are now live on my Twitter and the Fireside Knicks YouTube, and in just a moment, we will also be on the Fireside Knicks Instagram. Just coming on here to talk about the win. Sorry that I'm on here a little later than usual. I know the game ended about an hour ago, but was just putting some posts together for Fireside Knicks on all the platforms, so hopefully you guys checked all that out. But if you didn't, I recommend doing so. Anyways, the Knicks tonight, they clinched their third seed in the East. They also dominated the Toronto Raptors in that meantime, winning by 17 points, 112 to 95. And they also, as I said, they clinched the third seed, but it didn't even matter how this game ended up going. They would have ended up getting the third seed regardless, just because of the outcomes of the Cleveland Cavaliers game and the Boston Celtics game. Both those teams ended up winning their games by 20 plus, 30 plus. So those games were not even close. And first off, shout out to everybody in the chat. I see we have a handful of people in the Instagram chat, so I appreciate that. Hopefully, more people we can get onto YouTube and Twitter as well. That would be really nice. If you guys are new to these streams, make sure you guys please do follow Fireside Knicks on all of our platforms. We're trying to reach 40K followers on Instagram. We are very, very close to that. And on Twitter and YouTube, please follow us there and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can also follow my Twitter at Dylan Becker ESM. But anyways, guys, to kind of recap this game a little bit, and first off, like I said, I hope the stream quality improves any minute. Usually, the first couple minutes of the stream, it likes to be a little laggy for some reason, but I imagine soon enough it'll clear up, and you guys will be able to see me a little clearer. As long as you guys can hear me though at the start, then we will take that as well. But anyways, to kind of recap this game real quick, the Knicks kind of just dominated Toronto from the start. The game was really never close. Jalen Brunson finished with 29 points. Didn't really need to play much in the fourth quarter. Most of the starters didn't really need to play much in the fourth quarter as well, which is really nice to see. As I said, they now finished 5-0 against Toronto this year. 5-0. I mean, playing 5 games against one opponent alone is pretty insane, but that's because of the NBA Cup. They had an extra game against Toronto with the NBA Cup because they did play them during that tournament. So 5 games against Toronto, all 5 wins, and all 5 of those wins also were by double figures. Neither of these games were close, and it seems more and more likely that we will face the Raptors in the first round. With the Knicks clinching the third seed tonight, they obviously will play whoever ends up as the 6th seed. And currently, it looks like the Raptors will be the most likely 6th seed. Now, of course, they still could play Atlanta. That is the next most likely. And then there is still an outside chance that they could even match up with the Orlando Magic in the first round. I think ideally all of us want the Toronto Raptors, especially after how tonight went. But that's ideally we can go after anybody. I mean, the Knicks right now are rolling at the right time. They've now won 5 games in a row, and 3 of those games being against some really good teams in the Hawks and the Celtics, and of course tonight against Toronto, 3 teams that will be taking part in the postseason. So that is very encouraging to see at this time, because there was still quite a bit of chatter around this team as to whether or not they could compete against the good teams, and lately they are debunking that. And I do see on Instagram that we have a Pistons fan in here. And look, I'm all for trash talking stuff, but look, we might play y'all again in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's when the real test will begin. When the playoffs begin, it will be 0-0 for every team. So um, if you're more than welcome to be in here. I'm not going to kick nobody out unless, of course, they're being inappropriate. But regardless, you know, more than welcome to be here. But whatever you say, don't let it bite back when the playoffs come around. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, moving on from the Pistons fans and stuff. I see we have a YouTube comment. Somebody said, "Salute, we are sizzling right now. What's up, man? I hope you're having a really good night." Again, I apologize that I came on the stream about an hour after the game ended, was just putting some posts together and stuff, but I did not want to leave you guys hanging and not give you guys a reaction stream and all that stuff. So I do appreciate everybody who is tuning in. I see we have another YouTube comment. Somebody said, "Pistons are playing great. Problem is they're shooting." Yeah, the Pistons are one of those teams that relies a lot on their physical defense, their physicality, and less more of their shooting, whereas the Knicks are more of an offense focus where they really want to emphasize three-point shooting and ball movement. So it's an interesting matchup if they do match up in the playoffs again. Given that they are now the 3 seed, the only chance that they will match up with Detroit is in the Eastern Conference Finals if both teams make it there. So That will certainly be an interesting conversation. But looking ahead for this group, Sunday's game against Charlotte means absolutely nothing for the Knicks now. It is a completely meaningless game. So I highly doubt we will see any of the starters in that game, except Mikal Bridges, of course, who will almost certainly at least play the first 5 seconds so he can get his keep his game streak alive, his Iron Man streak. But as far as everybody else, I highly doubt we'll see any of those guys. Probably won't see any Brunson or Towns. Definitely not Anunoby. Anunoby actually left this game halfway through with an ankle injury. Don't know how serious that injury is. It didn't appear to be too serious. He apparently tweaked it early in the second quarter, and then he kept playing. So he looked fine. But I guess the Knicks realized at halftime that they pretty much had the third seed locked up and didn't want to take a chance with Anunoby, being that he had tweaked it. So they just decided to sit him out the rest of the game as a precaution, and it didn't matter. They ultimately ended up winning the game anyway. So hopefully OG is okay. Hopefully the ankle heals up in time. For game one, they still have about a little over a week until game one, so this is the perfect time for him to rest. Let that ankle heal. Hopefully it's not nothing too serious, and hopefully he is ready to go for game one. And as somebody just pointed out in the YouTube comments, it'll probably be Toronto first round, and if we do advance, it'll probably end up being Boston in the second round, a playoff rematch, and that is going to be something very interesting. We just saw the Knicks play the Celtics the other night, actually last night, and they beat them. They've gone 3-1 against Boston this year. They handled them much better this year during the regular season than they did last year. Obviously, they beat them in the playoffs after getting smoked by them in the regular season last year, but still much more encouraging to see what we've had going on. So we'll see what happens, but Sunday's game means absolutely nothing. That's when and Sunday we will know who we're playing in the first round. But no matter what happens with us, it doesn't matter because they don't need the game at all. They've got the third seat completely locked up. For the Hornets, that game might mean a little something, maybe not as much as it might have meant before today. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Hornets can't get a top 6 seed anymore. I don't believe. I think they're locked into the play-in. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that is the case for them. I think the teams that between 5 and 7 that are still to be determined. Okay, so I'm looking at it right here. The 6th seed and the 7th seed are the 2 seeds that are undetermined right now in the Eastern Conference, and that is the Raptors and the Magic. And so there is a possibility that they could end up playing Orlando, but it's less likely that they'll play Orlando. It is almost, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but it's very much likely that they will play either Toronto or Atlanta. Now, ideally, I think a lot of us want Toronto, just seeing how they played tonight and seeing how they've matched up with them all year. Look, the Raptors don't have a single guy who can guard Cat. They don't have a single player. Jakob Poeltl was on him at the start of the game, and I don't think we'll be seeing that a lot more if they match up in the playoffs because Towns was frying that dude. I mean, he had his way all night long, and Cat, of course, recorded another double-double. So really nice to see that. But otherwise, I don't have much else to say about this game. 5 wins in a row. They've ended off the season on a high note, which I'm very much encouraged. I'm not going to really look into the next game because they're probably not going to play anybody important. So that game does not matter. I really don't care if they lose that game or not. At this point, I just want to get into the postseason at full strength. So rest OG, rest the rest of the guys, make sure everyone's healthy, and then let's get on to the real thing. But anyways, guys, I want to turn it over to some of the comments on Instagram. I know I have not answered some of them, so I don't want to, ignore you guys either because, you guys have been our most loyal supporters. Of course, everybody is a loyal supporter, though, but, we have a lot of people tuned in on Instagram, so I definitely want to engage with a lot of you guys. So I'm going to scroll up to some of the earlier comments. Somebody said, hi. Well, what's up, man? How you doing? I hope you're having a really good night. Let's see what else we got. Somebody else said, Knicks have played good their last couple games. I'm very happy. Yep, they have looked so much better. I'm very much pleased with how they've been performing lately. They've been playing a lot more physical on defense, and I think that's been the biggest difference so far. Somebody said, yo, what's up, bro? What's up, man? I hope you're having a good night. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. I see we had a little back and forth going on earlier between that Pistons fan and some of you guys. Interesting topic. Let's see. Somebody said if the Raptors get the 6th seed, we can sweep them comfortably. Yeah, absolutely. I do think we can sweep the Raptors. I honestly think with the way we match up with them, that series should end in no more than 5. If that series goes past 5 games, I'm gonna be concerned. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Someone asked, "What do I think about the idea of Mitch starting?" He's not going to start probably, but I've been saying I wanted him to, and I think the double big lineup is their best lineup. So while I don't believe he will be starting, just because you're not going to mess up the continuity into the playoffs, I think we will see him playing alongside Towns quite a lot. I think we will see that double big lineup very frequently in the postseason. If we play Toronto, we might not even need to do it a whole ton though, just because they're not a tall team. They're a really small group, um, and they're not the most physical. I mean, I know that their defense is relatively good, but their bigs can't contain our bigs. So I don't think we'll need to do it as much, but maybe we will see it. Who knows? Someone asked, "Do I think the Raptors will end up 6?" I do think they'll end up 6 because the Raptors play Brooklyn on Sunday. If they lose to Brooklyn, they don't deserve the 6th seed. So it's that simple. Let's see. Someone else said, "Thoughts on Sohan being in the playoff rotation?" He probably won't be in a playoff rotation, but he could get some spot minutes. Tonight, though, he was not very good. I got to be honest. He was not good tonight. Hook Porty outplayed him, honestly. And Hook Porty's not going to get playoff minutes. That's like a definite unless someone gets injured. So um, he's not going to make the playoff rotation after how he played tonight. The rotation we saw against Atlanta and against Boston, that'll be the playoff rotation, with the bench being Deuce, Clarkson, Shamit, and Mitch. Someone asked, "How's OG?" We don't really have an update on OG, but I'm confident that it's just a precautionary thing, and that it's not nothing too serious. He looked fine. I mean, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not a doctor, and I also am obviously not there, so I can't speak to OG Anunoby. But it didn't appear to be anything too serious. So I'm hopeful that that is the truth, and that he's not going to really miss any time, and that he can just take this next week and a half off to let that ankle heal and be ready for Game 1. A week from now. So let's see. Someone said Alvarado got some minutes. Yeah, he did, and he actually played well. He actually played pretty well. Shout out to Jose Alvarado, another player who sits in the depths of the bench, and then when asked to come in and play, makes an impact. I can't hate on players that do that. Someone said, "I didn't see the OG injury during the game. Was it bad?" That's what I'm saying. I don't. It didn't look bad. I mean, I saw what happened. He stepped on Scotty Barnes' foot and he fell, but he stayed in the game. He kept playing. He didn't have like any noticeable limp or anything. At least I didn't notice anything wrong. Players fall down all the time and then get right back up, and that's what it looked like. It looked nothing out of the ordinary. So what I'm gonna guess happened is, obviously he tweaked it, but I'm gonna guess that he was fine. He could have kept playing, but this was halftime, and they probably were looking at the scores of the Celtics game and the Cavs game and went, "Okay, those games are pretty much over. We have the 3rd seed essentially locked up. We're going to sit you out the rest of this game. We're not going to take a chance with you." Because at this time of the year, you don't want to take a chance with anybody dealing with any injuries. So that's my hope, and that's my guess. But we don't know any official prognosis. I imagine though I imagine he'll be fine. I would like to think he'll be okay. If it was anything, I didn't see anything that like would have made me worry. So I'm just gonna assume that, but I'm not. Again, I don't know for certain. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Someone asked, "Any predictions on how far we will get in the playoffs? At least how far do you think?" They should go to the finals. Really, they should. I said that every stream, and I'm gonna say it again. They should go to the finals, but I'm gonna predict that they'll at least go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Once I see how they look in the first round, and then in the second round if they get there, then I'll be able to form a better prediction for you. But as of right now, they're playing like a really good team. Of course, my light turns a little dark right as I was in the middle of that point, so I do apologize that it did that. There we go. Now it's back on. Let's see. Someone asked, "Who do you think is the dark horse team?" Good question. Good question. I'm gonna say Atlanta. I think Atlanta is a dark horse team to kind of watch out for. I'm not saying that those guys are going to go on some deep run, but that team fights, and that team is deep. So I'm going to say Atlanta. I think Atlanta is a dark horse. Someone said, "What do you mean Alvarado won't make the rotation? Like he won't play or just in garbage time?" In the playoffs, he's only playing in garbage time. I'm going to be honest. He's only going to play in garbage time in the postseason. Alvarado is not going to get minutes in like meaningful minutes, I should say, during the playoffs. that's fine though. We have enough guards that are going to supplant that depth, so um, we don't really need to worry about that. Someone said, "Do you think Mitch starts in the first round over Josh Hart?" No, I don't think so. While I want that to be the case, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. I think we're just too far into the season now. Obviously, only one game left, and the starters aren't going to play on Sunday most likely. To where they're going to make a lineup change. I think they're just going to roll with what they got and hope that that group can lock in for the playoffs. And lately, they've been starting games a lot better. They have. They've been starting games much better lately, and that's why they've been able to get these big wins against playoff teams. And I think it's also worth noting, too, this is now the first time since the 2012-2013 season that the Knicks are going to finish with less than 30 losses. They have lost 30 or more games in every season since. Some of those seasons even losing 60 games. But this year tonight they got their 53rd win, so they can't lose more than 29 games. So that's a significant accomplishment. Mike Brown's first year with the team. Obviously, there's been a lot of ups and downs with the optics on the court, but um, he's got his team winning games, and they've looked a lot better against good teams than they did last year. So, while I've had my criticisms of Mike Brown all year, I can't just ignore that and say, that that's not a good job that he's done. So, yeah. Someone said I just joined. Maybe it was already asked, but how bad is OG's injury? Yeah, I did just answer that a couple minutes ago, but I don't think it's that bad. I saw what happened. He fell down. He stepped on Scotty Barnes' foot. Looked like he tweaked his ankle a little bit, but he stayed in the game the rest of the half. This was early in the second quarter. This was like 9 minutes left in the second quarter. He stayed in the game. He never asked to be subbed out. He kept playing. He came out of the game, came back in, did his usual rotation, all that stuff. Nothing noticeable. And then at the halftime break, they ruled him out, and I didn't even know when he got hurt. So my imagination, like I said before, is that they're just playing it safe with him. They're not taking a chance because they probably knew at halftime that they were going to end up as a third seed because Boston was up by 30, Cleveland was down by 30, so the third seed was basically locked up. So they're not going to take a chance with him. It didn't matter. They still ended up winning the game even without him. So um, I'm hoping. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. I can't just assume it's not, but um, I would like to think he'll be fine. I just hope he's ready for game one, which is about a week from now. Someone said, "Why didn't Donovan Mitchell play tonight for Cleveland?" Good question. I really don't know why Cleveland packed it in. I guess they figured that they were not going to overtake us, um, for that third seed because even if Cleveland won tonight, if we won, we would have had third seed. They wouldn't have been able to overtake us because we own the tiebreaker. So maybe they knew that. Maybe they had a feeling that would be the case, and that they kind of just accepted their fate as the fourth seed. So I don't know. Somebody said we got lucky last year. We didn't have any serious injuries under Tibbs. Yeah, but I don't think it's a Tibbs thing. I think it's the training staff. It's the same most of the same training staff from last year. Excuse me. So credit to those guys. They keep the team healthy, and that's been super super important, especially after 2 seasons ago when um half the roster was on the mend with injuries during the playoffs too. At that, so somebody said 12,000 assists for LeBron. Wow, really? That's awesome. LeBron just continues to break records. The man is timeless. Did not know he reached 12,000 though. So shout out to LeBron. I'll see what I'm gonna scroll up a little bit and see what else I might have missed because I know a lot of people were chatting earlier. Somebody said earlier, very nervous for the playoffs, man. I'm nervous, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I'm oddly optimistic right now with given the way they've been playing. And if this is how they can play in the playoffs, then I will feel a lot better about their chances because you guys know I've had my concerns. I've expressed them on here. Sometimes you guys may sometimes think it's too negative. And that's fine if you think that, but look, I have my concerns and all this stuff, but if they keep playing like this is all I've been asking for. With these last 5 games they've been doing, this is what I've been asking for. So if they keep doing this, then I believe they can go far. I do believe that they can make the finals and maybe even win the finals. I think they're good enough to do that. I think on paper they're the most talented team in the East, or at least in the East playoffs. So, um, yeah, this is all I ask for is for some consistency. Because when they don't show consistency, that's when I get concerned, and that's when I was concerned. But right now they've been consistent. They have been, and they've been winning important games as a result. So I can't be upset about that. Someone said, "Did I know that Jalen Brunson will be the first player in Knicks franchise history to average 24 or more points in 4 consecutive seasons?" I did not know that. Um, Someone said, "I think it's 25, 25 or 24." I will double check after I get off this live because that is actually an interesting fact right there. I did not know that. And if he does, I already think he's one of the best Knicks ever already. But because the Knicks respectfully don't have, like, outside of the 70s and the early 90s, they don't have like a deep history of superstar talent. So, compared to like the Celtics or the Lakers or something like that. So that would be something. Definitely would be something. Someone said 76ers waived campaign. I did see that. I was surprised by that. But I guess he was injured. From what I read, he was injured and um wasn't gonna play in the playoffs, obviously, because he's hurt. So I guess they freed up a spot for I think it was Dalen Terry who, as a matter of fact, we traded to get Jose Alvarado after we acquired him for the Abaselli deal. So I believe the Sixers did that so they can get him to be playoff eligible. So I guess you just had to take sacrifice. Someone asked, the Knicks will most likely play Toronto, right? Yes, that's the most likely. They will most likely end up playing Toronto. The next most likely is Atlanta, and then after that, possibly Orlando. But the chances of them playing Orlando are very thin, and it also is contingent on a few factors. I saw Ian Begley of SNY tweeted it, so I'm gonna pull it up right now just to see, just so I can share with you guys exactly what he said. Um, as far as the chances of them playing Orlando. So he said, so this is what he said on his tweet. He said the Knicks will play Orlando in the first round if Toronto loses to Brooklyn tomorrow. They won't. They're not going to lose to Brooklyn. But if they lose to Brooklyn and the Magic win in Boston, now that Magic can beat the Celtics, especially if the Celtics sit most of their guys. And then so if Toronto loses, they won't. But if they do, and Orlando wins, then we play Orlando in the first round. And um, he also added, if the Hawks lose to the Heat, they play the Heat on Sunday. Um, they probably won't, but they could. It's not impossible. The Heat are playing for nothing though, so I don't know who's gonna play for them that night. But if the Hawks lose to Miami, and the Raptors and Magic both win, then we will play Toronto still. So in essence, a Toronto win would mean we play Toronto. Um, they're probably gonna win. If they lose to the Nets, like I said, then they do not deserve the 6th seed. So in short, if Toronto wins, then that's who will we. I'm 99% certain that that's who we're going to end up playing in the first round, and that's the ideal matchup. That's the best case scenario for the Knicks if they end up with Toronto, because that's the team they've clearly had their most success against out of all these teams that they're in contention of playing against. They've obviously done good against the Hawks this year, and they went, I believe, 2-2 against Orlando. So um, we can beat all three of those teams. I think we're better than all three of those teams easily, but um, Toronto, we own them this year. All the games we won by double digits, blew them out all 5 times. Um, own them. Just straight up own them this year. And they played an extra road game against Toronto this year too, and still straight up own them. So I believe it was an extra road game. I'll double check, but I believe they played 3 road games against them, and and 2 home games, I believe. I'll double check that right now. I'll confirm that. But either way, the Knicks will have home court advantage against the Raptors if they play them in the first round. Matter of fact, they'll have home court advantage against anybody who they play in the first round. But now, if they play Boston in the second round, they won't have home court advantage. So that's the one downside to not getting the 2nd seed, is that they will not they won't be able to get home court in the second round if they meet, which is not great because the Knicks were so much better this year um, at the Garden instead of on the road. But it is what it is. We move. We hope that everyone just kind of gets their act together and goes from there. Let's see. Somebody said 3 points for Hart. Do my eyes deceive me? That's just Josh Hart for you. I mean, he scored 26 last night, and you knew he wasn't going to do that the next night. I mean, I don't think Josh Hart having 3 points though was problematic. He was still a plus 11 tonight. He still made an impact defensively. Yes, he only took 2 shots in 30 minutes. We can't have that in the playoffs, but um, I still thought he did fine. Like, yeah, he didn't do much scoring, but yeah, they won the game by nearly 20 points and were up 20 points nearly the whole time. So it would be silly of me to point at somebody and be like, "Yeah, that guy stunk. That guy, if that guy played better, we win the game by 40 instead of 20." Doesn't matter. It counts the same. So we'll just leave it at that. But shout out guys like Jose Alvarado, Jordan Clarkson. They got extended burn today and they did really well. Alvarado had 12 points, 5 rebounds. Clarkson had 10 points in 18 minutes off the bench. I mean, Jordan Clarkson, I want to talk about him for a sec. It's incredible how he has turned his season around. And it's incredible that he was out of the rotation for 2 whole months, came back in, and is providing an impact in a winning way. That's remarkable. Most players can't do that. It's a tough thing for a player to do, and he's done that. So he deserves a lot of credit for how he handled his first year with the Knicks. Somebody said thoughts for the Knicks last game. The game on Sunday means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Somebody said on YouTube, greetings from Atlanta. What's up, man? I hope you're having a nice day. And there's a possibility we could play Atlanta in the first round. So that would be something. But anyway, somebody asked about the next game for the Knicks on Sunday. That game means nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. They're not going to play any of their starters, most likely. I highly doubt we see any of them. I expect the starting five to be like Alvarado, Bridges, Diawara, or even Dadier, and then Diawara and Hukporti or something like that. I'm not expecting any key rotation piece to be logging significant minutes. Some guys on the bench might play a little bit, like maybe Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson probably doesn't play. I'll take that one back. Maybe Deuce McBride plays a little bit just to get back into rhythm. But if he does, it would be like very short. Landry Shamet will probably play like between 10 and 15 minutes. We'll probably see Kevin McCullough get a good amount of burn. Be a fun game if you are really into their younger guys and their prospects and their two-way dudes. But if you're looking for anything revealing about what it's going to say about the playoffs, don't waste your time on Sunday. I'm just being honest. Don't, because you're not going to see anything on Sunday that's going to tell us about um, the playoffs. And somebody that Atlanta person said, Knicks fan, just live here. Shout out to you, man. I really appreciate you being a fan of us instead of those Hawks. but I don't even have an issue with the Hawks. I never understood some Knicks fans like big disdain with the Hawks. It's strictly because of Trae Young, but he's not even there anymore. The Hawks are cool. I have no problem with them. I don't. I really don't. Anyways, let's see what else we got in the comments. Someone said it sounds so funny when you say, "Well, what about Sunday?" Yeah, I'm just being real. Do not waste your time on Sunday if you're actually if you're gonna watch that game, hoping to see something revealing for the playoffs or hoping to see something significant that's gonna mean something. I'm here to tell you right now, don't waste your time. Don't do something more meaningful with your time on Sunday. But if you want to watch the game anyway, feel free to do so. I am not gonna make fun of anybody who um, will tune into to some any Knicks hoops because when summer league rolls around, best believe I will be tuning into those a little bit. So I no criticism here at all. Just keeping it real though. If you're looking for something important on Sunday, don't. Unless you're a Hornets fan, because that game maybe means a little bit to them. I believe they're locked into the play-in, but I don't believe their spot in the play-in is locked in. So, yeah, that game might mean a little something for Charlotte, but it means nothing for the Knicks. Someone asked if I'm gonna watch the game. I mean, I might have it on, and I'll post about it a little bit just because, for the fans that did in fact watch or do want some posts from it, but don't expect a live stream after the game. I'll keep it a buck right now. Don't expect me to go live after the Hornets game unless I need to. I'll probably do a playoff preview the following day. So, for the people that do consistently watch these streams. Don't expect me to go live after the Hornets game on Sunday. Maybe I will. I'll see. But I'll definitely do a playoff preview the following day, and that's probably what I'll end up doing. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys are new to these streams, though, I see we've been about on here for about a half hour. If you guys are new to these streams, please make sure you guys follow Fireside Knicks on all of our platforms. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Please follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter as well. Follow my Twitter. It's at Dylan Backer ESM. My Instagram is also at Dylan Backer ESM. We're almost at 40K followers on Instagram. We are less than 2,000 followers away. I would really love to hit that during the playoffs. So if you guys can help us get there, I would really appreciate that support. Let's see what else we've got, though, in the comments. I'll stay on here for about another, like, 10 minutes max, and then I'll probably end it off here. But I'll still sit around and answer some questions for a little bit. Someone said, no reason to play our stars or any key players and risk an injury on Sunday. Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason at all. I don't think we'll see a single starter except Bridges, and when we do see Bridges, he'll be on the court for 5 seconds. He'll intentionally foul whoever is in front of him, and then he'll get subbed out so that he gets his 82nd game and keeps that Iron Man streak alive. Someone said, if Kevin McCullough drops 35 points, go live. You know what? I will. I'll just for you. If he drops 35 points, you'll get a reaction from me. You will. And you'll get a Kevin McCullough post too as well. And I'll make sure I tag you if he does that. So you know what I'll even do? I'll pin your comment right now. I'll pin it. Now everybody who's tuning in knows that if Kevin McCullough drops 35 on Sunday, you'll see me after that game. And everyone's gonna know that you were the one who called it. So I'll make sure that everyone knows. So you better hope you don't jinx it, because if Kevin McCullough drops a stinker, I'm blaming you as well. Someone said, imagine Mitch hits a three-pointer. Yo, if Mitch hits a three-pointer, the internet is breaking. The internet will break if Mitchell Robinson, not even if he makes a three, if he attempts a three in that game. You know what? I kind of want to see that now. I kind of want to see that. I kind of want to see if he does something like that. The league might start investigating us for tanking the game away, but it would be pretty funny. Someone asked if Mitch deserves a starting spot. I think he deserves a starting spot, but I don't think he's going to end up getting the starting spot just because of the continuity they have with the current starters and the playoffs being literally 1 week away. Let's see what else we got. Someone said, "A life is about taking risks, right?" Yep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Someone said Mitch was shooting consistent threes in the offseason. Offseason Mitch and offseason Ben Simmons are like the two greatest players of all time. I firmly believe that. It is funny though. I've seen all those clips of Mitch in the offseason. He pulls out moves that he's not attempting in a game. I always wanted him to try something like that when when Tibbs was still the coach. When Tibbs was still the coach, I always wanted Mitch to try something like that, and he obviously never ended up doing that. Someone asked, how am I doing, man? I'm doing great, man. I hope you're having a nice night as well. Great Knicks win tonight, clinching 3rd seed. Now it's on to the playoffs. They have a game on Sunday that means nothing. So I promise you, if you miss that game on Sunday, you're missing absolutely nothing. So it's time to look forward to the playoffs. Someone else said, if nothing else, it's a great time to see what our bench can do with these minutes. Yeah, for Sunday's game, it would be interesting to see how they disperse those minutes. I imagine we're going to see a lot of the young guys and the two-way guys. I imagine Trey Jemison will probably get a good amount of minutes. Dylan Jones probably gets minutes. Kevin McCullough, guys like that, they probably will get a good amount of minutes. It'll be exciting to see for that. If you guys are really into the development of those guys. But for those who don't care as much about that, who are more focused on the main guys on this team, don't expect them to be on the court. And if they are on the court, it'd be very brief. Someone said, I want to face the Raptors over the Hawks. Yes, I do too. Although I do think if we face Atlanta, we can still beat them pretty handily as well. But I would rather face Toronto. Someone said, "What's up, bro? What's up, man? I hope you're having a good night. Hope everybody in this chat is having a good night. It's a Friday night. Obviously, I stayed in to watch the Knicks game because there's nothing more I would rather do on a Friday night than do that. So, yes. Someone asked, how come the Giannis rumors are coming back again? It's mostly because of what's happening between Giannis and the Bucks right now. With their little internal feud over whether or not Giannis is healthy enough to return to action. That's why. And also because, I mean, his season's over. So he probably just played his last game in that uniform. So, of course, we're going to be at the forefront of that, especially because we were at the forefront of it in the offseason. So once the offseason hits, best believe you're going to be hearing endless Giannis rumors. And I will try my best to not drown them out for you guys. Because I'll be honest, I'm sick of hearing about Giannis so much too. I just want the Bucks to trade him already. But for sake of transparency, I always make sure to keep you guys updated on those rumors because that's what I'm on here for. But I will try my best to not drown it out. I will try my best because I don't want to I don't want to do I don't want to overdo it, especially if it doesn't end up happening. So, yeah. Someone asked Tyler Kolek starting on Sunday? Question mark. He could. I could see that happening. I think Alvarado will probably end up starting. And then Bridges will be next to him just so that Bridges can get his streak. But then maybe Kolek comes in right after. Maybe. That's if Kolek is healthy though. He did miss today. He missed the last 2 games with an oblique injury. Don't know how severe it is. I don't think it's anything severe. I don't. But we know nothing about it. It's not like he plays anyway, so we know so little details about it. But we'll see. Someone said if he does, he's dropping 20 and 10. Probably. We saw him get a start earlier this year, and he dropped something very close to that. I believe he had like 16 and 12 or something like that. I could be wrong, but I remember he started against Minnesota, a game that Jalen Brunson didn't play in, and he did really well. If you guys have any other questions or thoughts that you want me to put my input on, feel free to comment it. If you guys are watching this on Twitter and YouTube, same thing for you guys. Feel free to comment and please like, repost, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at DylanBacherESM. For the Instagram folks, like up this stream, please, and share this stream with anybody who you think will enjoy this or want to talk with me about some Knicks basketball or even just some hoops in general. And yeah, and help us get to 40K. I would really appreciate that support. You guys have been awesome with the support this year. Truly insane how much we've grown over the last 2 seasons. And I really appreciate everybody who tunes into these lives, interacts with our posts, reposts, likes, comments. Every single one of them is appreciated. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if there's any other earlier comments I might have missed. Someone said earlier Dadier and Kolek will probably get minutes because they're both known to drop 20 plus in the G League. We will see a good amount of Dadier, I think, on Sunday. I think we'll see a lot of Dadier because I think that'll be kind of Mike Brown's chance to really see if there's actually something there with him. Like the other guys, I feel like he kind of knows what he's got in them to a degree. I don't think, but we all know most of us here have no idea what's in store for Dadier. So I think we will see him a lot. I would even argue that he might start, just so that Mike Brown can get a really good look at him and get an idea of what he can bring to the table like next season. Or if for whatever reason his name gets called in the playoffs, like if it's really dire, if he can contribute. So I expect to see a lot of him. Somebody said that the Knicks will lose in the ECF again. I hope not. I really hope not. The expectation this year, the minimum, should be to go to the NBA Finals. So if they lose in the ECF again, it's a massive disappointment. Even if it's to the 1-seeded Pistons, it's still a disappointment. We're past that grateful stage now where we're just happy to make it that far. Like last year, obviously we all wanted to go to the finals, but I think a lot of us were just happy. We're also just pleased to see us take a step forward and make it there, knowing that we're that close. So now that we are like that close, let's get there. Let's actually make it to the finals this time instead of fizzling out in the ECF, especially in the fashion that they fizzled out in, because that game one heartbreaker will live in my head forever until we win a championship. So, um, yeah. Anyways, though, I don't think we have many other comments on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. So I do think this is a good place for me to wrap things up. It's about 11:30 here on the East Coast. I do appreciate everybody who tuned into this stream. I know it wasn't super long, but I like doing these, and you guys like the post game streams. So best believe in the playoffs, we will be doing a lot of these. We will be doing a lot more streams. We'll be doing a lot of post game streams as well. We'll probably go live after each game in the playoffs. I would expect that. So, be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for a bunch of playoff content. Sunday's game does not mean anything, so um, don't worry about Sunday, guys. Don't stress out if they lose. I'll watch a little bit. I'll have it on. I'll maybe post some highlights if anything cool happens. I'll post the final score. I'll make sure you guys are all updated on that game. But best believe that game means absolutely nothing, so do not worry about the outcome there. It is time to focus on the playoffs now, and I'm so glad we've made it to this point, and I'm glad we've had a successful season to talk about, but now it's on to the real thing. So, as far as Sunday goes, I don't know if I'll be doing a stream after. I highly doubt it. But expect a playoff preview at least the day after, even if I go live after the Charlotte game, or not. On Monday, I will definitely do a playoff preview for you guys at some point that afternoon. So please be on the lookout for that. But other than that, make sure you follow us on all of our platforms. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. We're everywhere. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at Dylan Becker ESM. Follow Fireside Knicks on Twitter as well. I see everyone saying have a good night. Yes, everybody have a good night. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. It's time to get to the playoffs. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream I do. Peace out. Let's go Knicks.